Morning. It is Tuesday morning. Good morning. It's Kirsten Liebelt. How are you doing on this amazing Tuesday? In Minnesota, we have cloudy skies. However, it's going to be 81 and humid. So I just turned on my air and I'm like, ugh. Okay, here we go. But I know Minnesota humidity is like a joke. It's a joke. Okay, today, you guys, I'm going to do not only what I put in the subject title, which is I was looking at Dr. Eric Berg information. Five nutritional deficiency symptoms. These are very interesting. And then how to fill in that gap. But I'm also going to listen up. Did you place an order in the month of June? Does anybody know what we did in the month of June? Does anybody know? I would love to know if you guys know. You may not know. You may not remember. We celebrated the 1-year anniversary of the Facebook group. And so I am giving away, I put all my numbers together this morning. And so I said that in the month of June, I was going to give away sets of the trio. And you might be like, what's the trio? Well, you could jump into my stories if you want to on IG. And they've been having a hard time going over to Facebook. So sketch as to whether or not they're there. I'll have to go check again. Last night, things were being weird last night in my socials. My socials yesterday were weird. But anyway, the trio are 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. This is something I started like over a decade ago because my dad had died of type 2 diabetes when he was 63. So when I started to create content, I created Good Morning, Cheryl. It doesn't matter. You didn't have to be the trio, Cheryl. You didn't have to order that. You could order anything. So your name is on the list. Okay. Your name is on the list, and I will tell you, I will, whatever. I will share the 3 winners today. But anyway, so I actually started with supplementation because I'm Italian. I tell this a lot. I'm Italian, and I didn't think that I could trade out my ingredients. This is just a real true story. And so that's where I started. And now even like this morning, and I forgot to take a picture. I don't like to give incorrect numbers. I just had this morning somebody text me and say that she's taken the trio for 2 months and her A1C. Forgive me if the numbers are wrong, okay? But they're close, okay? Forgive me. I think she said from an 8.7 to a 6.9 in 2 months now, just doing the trio. So I want you to know that this is something that's really near and dear to my heart. And when people start going in the right direction, it just makes me so freaking happy. But more than that, what we talk about is the fact that if your insulin and or your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. And that is, I am convinced, the number one frustration of women across the fruited plains, because we're not viewing it as a hormonal issue. We're viewing it as a calorie in, calorie out issue, a count point issue, a, work your butt off in the gym issue. And we're not properly seeing it through the right lenses. So therefore we don't lose the weight that we want to lose. So anyway, that's what we're doing. I know, Cheryl, really good results, right? And everybody's results do vary. And so that's why I always tell people, listen, you don't have to take my word for it. Do not go over to IG. And I was thinking about this last night. How can I get these testimonies in a much better place everywhere? And I don't have an answer yet, but I'll come up with one. Go over to IG, and at the very top, there's a pink highlight bubble, and it just says trio testimonials. And you can just file through them yourself. Okay. Like morning sugars down, weight that's been lost, sugar cravings crushed, appetite under control, maybe a lot of the things that people are experiencing with injections, maybe a lot of the things that people are experiencing in other ways, and they would like a more natural way. That's basically my whole conversation. Okay. All right. So we will talk about that. Hey, movie mama, good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So I will share my 3 winners here at the end of the, after I do my 5. Actually, no, it was Dr. Eric Berg's. Let's give credit to where credit is due. 5 nutrient deficiencies and how you fill in those gaps. And so, every single day I come and I talk to you about different pieces of the puzzle, because I'm very convinced that when we fill in nutritional deficiencies, which is what a part of the trio, that's what the trio is doing. Okay, that's why this works, right? You can turn around your body. We're deficient for so many reasons, you guys. We're deficient because we buy fruits out of season. Like you never used to do that, right? You would forage fruits, berries from your own area, and they would harvest and be ripe at the perfect time for where you live in your growing season at the peak of its nutritional value. That's not true anymore. We ship things in. We pick things while they are, very unripe, and then we let them ripen on the truck, whatever. Not that I really know the whole, pieces of that, but I'm just saying, like, we don't eat in season. We don't have high quality. Plus, our soil is very, very depleted. Even in the Bible, it talks about letting your soil rest every 7 years. And we just don't do that anymore. Our farming has gone, like crazy. Like we just want to just go, 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 right? We have to produce, produce, produce. So today we are talking about five nutritional deficiencies, their symptoms, and how you can fill in the gap. That's what we're going to talk about today. So this is not just for diabetes. So what to take? Okay. Laura, tell me exactly what you're asking so that I can make sure that I answer you properly. So this is not just for diabetes. Do you mean the trio, or do you mean the nutritional deficiencies that we're going to talk about? Just let me know that, and then I'll get going. Good morning, Nicole. Crystal, the trio are, and I'm giving away some sets today for orders that were placed in June because we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary of the Facebook group, which is called, why do I not say the name of it at the first time I was talking about it? Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And we are doing another free challenge starting on July 8th. And I will take you through some ingredient trade outs, et cetera. And then we'll do a recipe and all the good things. Because I want to be able to equip you. And we basically do equipping at the beginning of every month. So I'll make sure I'm not missing anything. Hey, Magda. Oh, she says I'm frozen. On Instagram, am I frozen? Or was it just Magda? You never know. And if you can get yourself equipped at the beginning of the month, then you can take down that month, and then you can do it another month, and you can string them together like train cars, and then you can get results. So like her A1C came down over 2 months. It's not perfect yet, but it's coming down because this takes a little time, right? Like this isn't instantaneous answers. And so that's why I want to make sure that we have a proper mindset so that we have a proper expectation. We don't get frustrated. Good morning, Terry. Everybody's here today. Oh my gosh, you guys are all here. This is so amazing. Hi, Colleen. Wow, you guys are just hopping in. Very, very cool. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's do our 5 nutritional deficiencies. And Laura, if you have anything, let me know, and hopefully it'll show up on my screen. But the deficiencies are not necessarily connected to diabetes. These are just good deficiencies to know about. The trio is a lot of my testimonies are from people who are checking their blood sugars and their fasting insulin tests. So somebody just had their fasting insulin test after 6 months on the trio go from a 24 down to 8 something. I would have to get those numbers correct also. All right, so here we go. So again, you guys, I really like Dr. Eric Berg for a lot of different reasons. He talks about nutritional deficiencies. That's not what this particular one is, but he'll talk about nutritional deficiencies that actually correlate to the trio. And it can help people to understand why certain things work in your body. It's kind of like very much putting power steering fluid into your container in your vehicle. I'm a mechanic. Can you tell? Movie Mama, you're amazing. You're just making my day again. I just love you. Thank you. Basically where you're putting that fluid in there and where your power steering was really hard. Everybody kind of maybe knows that feeling where all of a sudden you're leaving the grocery store parking lot and you turn on your vehicle and you're like, oh crap, my power steering fluid is low. Well, that's your internal system, your pancreas and your liver and your entire system, your endocrine system that's trying to help you stay with lower sugars and lower insulin. Well, you can actually deal with that. And that is more about the trio. So Dr. Eric Berg was talking about nutrient deficiencies. And I thought this was interesting. The number one that he was talking about is when you have brittle nails. Brittle nails. And I always kind of thought that if I had brittle nails, that it's because I live in Minnesota and so it's in the winter. Now, I don't feel like I have brittle nails, but in the past when I have felt that way, I've always thought, oh, it must just be winter. It must just be dry. or even if it's in the summer, then you're thinking, oh, it's just because I'm in air conditioning all the time. Like, you just make stuff up in your head. Potentially it's because you're low in protein. I thought that was really interesting. And that explains to me probably why I don't have brittle nails because, to be really honest, I eat a lot of protein. Like when I talk to you guys about food, I talk about high protein, like get way up over 100 grams of protein a day so that you can stay full, you can be satiated, you can protect your lean muscle mass, stabilize your blood sugars, and they'll just hum along. So like this morning I got up and I had a couple of eggs and I had a chicken sausage, and it actually probably wasn't enough. It didn't get up over 30 grams, but it was, let's see, 14. Yeah, it's kind of low, to be perfectly honest. So probably 14 is so probably 26 is what I got. And normally maybe I would bump that up to 32. I'm just giving you an example because over the course of the day, if my blood sugars can sail right along, then I'm not having blood sugar spikes, calling on insulin all the time and storing fat. And it's the storing fat that everybody wants to talk about. Everybody wants to talk about how frustrating storing the fat is, but it starts way over here when you're spiking your sugars, when you're insulin resistant. Okay. So that's the first one. You heard that copper may play a part in insulin resistance. I can look that up too, Movie Mama. The answer is yes, but I actually don't know off the top of my head why. So there are all sorts of those types of mineral deficiencies that make such a big difference. Anyway, number 2, eye twitches. Number 2, I just got balloons on Instagram. Eye twitches. And he explains why. I don't know that I really completely tracked necessarily, but it could be a magnesium deficiency. Isn't that interesting? So when I talk about magnesium, in my line, I used to have a magnesium glycinate and I don't anymore. And so I highly recommend that you find a magnesium glycinate blend. And the reason why is because glycinate is super absorbable, but it will also help you to sleep well. So for instance, like at night before I go to bed, I always take my magnesium before I go to bed. And magnesium actually has so many functions in your body. It's not just about trying to avoid leg cramps. It's not just about, the simple things that we think about. It actually has like it can be connected to your heart working properly and everything. So it's a super, super big deal. Copper helps to process iron out of the body. That is interesting. Isn't that interesting? If it can't, I have to move you. Sorry. Your body makes insulin to do it. Oh, that is very fascinating. Man, that is an interesting connection. Thank you for sharing that. Just think about how our bodies are supposed to we're just supposed to be in balance all the time and how we just keep throwing ourselves off of the track. The third one, this I thought was interesting, and the deficiency, I would never have guessed this. And he's talking about now if you have hip or joint clicking, like a lot of clicking going on. Now, this one, I was like, what? I did not know this. Now, we've been talking about this supplement for a long time. Actually, I kind of bring it up a lot because it's very, very foundational. It's foundational for insulin resistance. It's foundational for making sure that you don't have seasonal sadness. It's foundational for so many functions in your body. And it's vitamin D3. And then, of course, you want it with K2. And I talk about it because as I'm making, what I do for you guys is you guys will reach out to me and you'll say, I was on your live and you were talking about, and then you'll list off some of the supplements or whatever, like the trio and the ashwagandha and blah, blah, blah. And I will put a cart together for you. And then I'll give you a very customized cart for what your need is. And I've been talking to you as customers, if you're already one, about thinking about when you run out of your vitamin D, or if you've never started to use vitamin D3, adding that to your cart, because this is not a synthetic one. It's actually sourced from mushrooms. And so it's very bioavailable, as you can imagine. But it's only like 30 cents a day. So the price point doesn't seem to match the amazingness of the quality. I mean, it's really, really good. But anyway, and so he was saying vitamin D3. Now he is saying that upwards of, and each one that I take is 2,000 IUs or 50 micromilligrams. Okay, I take one every single day, all year round. I live in Minnesota. There is not enough sun to satisfy the Minnesotans. There's just not. All year long, we can't bottle it, right? All that good stuff. So I take a 2,000 IU or 50 micromilligrams a day. He's saying to take upwards of 20,000. Now, I'm not making that recommendation. This is coming from Dr. Eric Berg. Go and do your research. If you have hip clicks or joint clicks and you think that's something you want to look into, go and research that, okay? Because that obviously is a very high dose of vitamin D3 with K2. But that's very curious, right? Like, what is that connection? I thought that was super interesting. Number 4 is premature graying. So hold on just a second. And with all of the processed foods copper has, oh man, I just set myself up incorrectly today. Hold on, Instagram. I'm going to shift you. Sorry. Do I have a like for even more information to check back on? Laura, do you mean like, okay, oh, do you mean a link? A link for like the trio? Is that what you're talking about? Let me tell you, I'll share that with you so that you know. Yes, and magnesium also keeps you regular. Magda says magnesium citrate helps you stay regular. Not all magnesiums help with that arena, but if you have a blend, like mine has a blend of glycinate, citrate, I think taurate, each magnesium has a different best function. And with all the processed foods, copper has all but been eliminated. And iodine, because we stopped using iodized salt because of like pink Himalayan salt, that's helpful for thyroid. So all of these shifts that we've made in our food thought process, we've sometimes eliminated something that we actually needed. And then unfortunately, sometimes we end up then on scripts when it was a nutritional deficiency. I'm just saying that's the stuff that fires me up because we're being given script answers when maybe it's a simple mineral deficiency. Now, not always, right? But what if? That's my thing. A 3 for 3, Cheryl says. OMG, hip surgery in September. Oh, K2, vitamin K2. So when you have a D3, you want the K2 in it. You just want that combination. Go look on my site, Cheryl, and put in vitamin D, and you'll see that it's a D3 plus K2. You'll see that it's together. It's just one of those things. Most of the time, people are doing it correctly as far as manufacturers. It's just a little side note to make sure that people are getting the combination. Okay, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, so the link, Laura, just let me tell you this right now. So you're on Tickety Talk. 2 things. Number 1, you can go over to IG, and at the very top, there's a pink highlight bubble, and that will tell you the testimonies of the trio. That's where people's like their morning sugars are coming down. They're finding weight loss. Their A1C, their fasting insulin, sugar cravings, appetite, like all of the things. And this is coming from you guys. This is you guys texting me in my phone. And I'm just screenshotting, sharing them in my stories and dropping them into a highlight bubble because you don't have to take my word for it. I'm the one who is not testing her blood sugars because I avoided it by doing this. I did this first, the trio, and I avoided type 2. Okay. But you guys give me the testimonies. So they're in the highlight bubble. Number 2, if you go to my first last name, which is Kirsten Liebelt, Kirsten, you can see it on Facebook because it's on the window. Kirsten, Kirsten, and then my last name is Liebelt. It looks like lie, Lie, like tell a lie, which I'm not. Lie, and then belt, like a belt you wear about your jeans, right? Liebelt, KirstenLiebelt.com. The third button has the trio at the very top of the list, and they're all 3 in one cart. Super easy to see. Everything is very streamlined. I want it to be as simple as possible because a confused mind does what? Does anybody know the answer to that? A confused mind does nothing. So if you're confused, you won't do anything and you won't take the steps you need to help yourself. So that's why I always tell you my contact information is out and about everywhere. So you can reach out and say, hey, I was on your live. You talked about this. You talked about this. Like, will you put a cart together for me? Or can you explain that to me? Tell me more about that purple packet and what that did for your hormones, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Okay. You use glycinate, but you're right. The citrate does help you be more regular, more efficiently. Yes, it does. And it's very helpful because again, okay, before I move on, you guys, a simple thing. So we're out there using stool softeners and we're out there doing all sorts of silliness Maybe we're even taking scripts. I don't know because I've never done that. What if a magnesium citrate would just be very helpful and there's a natural way to do this? Like it just, come on. We want to do things better. Okay. Okay. You're on D2. You guess you need to have a conversation with your doctor on Monday. You want to go functioning without pills and not directed. Yep. Yep. And D2 is different than D3. So just FYI. Natural. Perfect. Okay. I think I'm good. You'd like to switch to Colleen. You'd like to switch to my D3K2. Your vitamin D level was at 9 and it was only come up to 20 in the last 9 months. And I definitely need to switch to a better supplement. Colleen, do that. And if you need help with it, let me know. It's not hard though. I mean, it's not hard to find. You literally just search vitamin D and it will come up. It's D3 with K2. It's a 90-day supply if you only take one a day. If you need to take more than 2,000 IUs a day, then just take more. But anyway, yeah, you want efficacy. You want it to actually work. If something's not breaking down in your system, if it's synthetic and your body can't read it right, I'm just telling you, it makes sense. It just makes sense. Okay. What do pro or prebiotic help with weight loss? Thank you. Yes. Oh my gosh, that is such a great question. Okay. I'm going to answer that, but let me finish off these next two because I don't want people waiting for these answers. So hold on just a second. So number 4, I said premature graying and I never finished the conversation, and B5 is what you're looking for. B5. And B5 is also good for your adrenals, and your adrenals help you to have less stress. If you're supporting your adrenals regulate your hormones. And that's the entire conversation about the purple packet, the entire conversation about the adaptogenic herbs. But if you need a good B complex, put in my search bar, dual action. It's actually, excuse me, it's actually all 8 of your B vitamins time released over 8 hours. So you get some right away for some energy, and then you get others that are releasing throughout the next however many hours. Beautiful beautiful B complex, dual action. Okay. And then number 5, if you're bruising easily. Is anybody bruising easily? I didn't know this one these are I find these to be fascinating, and I did not know this one at all. Bruising easily, K1. And when I was looking on my site, the K1 that I saw, this is fascinating to me. It's actually in the complete menopause support product, which is, in my opinion, I've never seen, they're using a certain kind of a rhubarb extract to help with the hot flashes and those symptoms that are super frustrating. And so first of all, I've never seen that before, that particular research that brought them to this answer of this rhubarb extract, apparently very popular in Germany. And that's how we ended up doing the research and then growing it and using it, blah, blah, blah. But there's K1 in the complete menopause support. And I thought that was very interesting because I would have not known that that was a part of bruising easily. So if anybody's in the throes of, that's one way to get your K1 in. If you're needing more support for your menopause symptoms and frustrations. I mean, I honestly, you guys, come on, girls, we know what this is like, right? We think we're crazy. We think there's something wrong with us. We wonder silently in our heads a lot, if it's ever going to end. Like, nobody told us that there was going to be like a decade sketched out for this. Nobody maybe told us that the brain fog sometimes might feel like dementia. I've had people tell me this. And we're just maybe weren't really fully prepared. Now, the complete menopause support is not going to help you with brain fog. That's another conversation. I can talk to you about the purple packet for that, if that's something you're looking for. You're on blood thinners. Yep. So you do have to be careful about that, don't you? Doctor always told me my bruising was due to the losartan I take. Oh, okay. So it's a med. That definitely could be. And then Magda says she's on blood thinners. So yeah. So bruising on that for sure. Yeah. And you do have to be careful, actually. Thank you for telling me that. Anybody who is on blood thinners, you do have to be careful about what you're taking in terms of like adaptogenic herbs and stuff. You got to know your stuff. It's crazy that heart palpitations and irregular heartbeat are symptoms of magnesium deficiency, but the doctor doesn't tell you. It's kind of nuts. I know it. Magnesium glycinate changed your life, got you off of your CPAP machine. You sleep really well now. Hallelujah. What a great testimony. Oh, I love that stuff. Colleen, whatever you said yes to, Colleen, yes. I'm sorry, I'm not tracking all the time because I bounce back and forth. But yes, I'm trying to remember what we were talking about. Just about the D3, probably. Just about the D3. Okay, so again, wow, Cheryl says, I know. So the recap is brittle nails. If you have brittle nails, it could be a deficiency of protein. Get your protein up, 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 up. It's actually a weight loss hack, right? It's a weight loss hack, up over 100 grams a day, probably closer to wherever your goal weight is. I'm just going to be really on. Like, I thought I was talking high protein until I went and I took in an expert when we went to headquarters here in June, and he's like, no, nope, way, keep going, because we have to offset certain things. Oh, the menopause stuff. You were convinced that you had dementia because of the brain fog. I know. You guys, think about how we are running around wondering what's wrong with us. Like, this is not okay. Number 1 was brittle nails, low protein. Number 2 was twitches in your eye, magnesium potential deficiency. The hip and the joint clicking, vitamin D3. And Eric Berg is talking about getting up like to upwards of 20,000 IUs a day. Number 4 was premature graying, and he's talking about vitamin B5. Which is also good for your adrenals. And you want that very much because when you support your adrenals, you have less stress. I talk about that a lot. And number 5 was bruising easily, and you might be deficient in K1. And so the products that I would have to fix some of those things would be the vitamin D3. I have a dual action vitamin B complex, which is phenomenal. Time released. And then I have a complete menopause support if anybody is dealing with menopause stuff. So I'm talking about probiotics. And actually I already took mine for the day. I have these little stick packs. Here, it looks like this. Hold on. Because I just took it this morning. So I have these little stick packs that have powder in them. And I take one every single day, and it has a prebiotic, and then it has 5 strains of a probiotic. I literally just do this. I just put it on my tongue and I take it. But you can sprinkle it on cold food like your yogurt, or you could mix it in with water, etc. Priming your gut, getting your gut proper. And I have a product coming out in August that I don't have the details yet on fully, so I'm not going to share with it yet, but it's literally an actual gut primer. I can't wait to talk about it, because when your gut is not working well, not only is your nutrient absorption down, not only is your ability to digest and properly take in the supplementation that you're taking, but it affects your serotonin levels, which are affecting your depression. I shouldn't say that word, your sadness levels, your anxiousness levels. Like, by fixing your gut, which is your second brain, you can do so much for weight loss, for mental health, for nutrient absorption, the whole thing. And we have really messed ourselves up a lot in our guts. And so, as a course of action, you know, again, in my opinion, and remember, I'm not a doctor, I'm just an Italian chick figuring things out. And it took me a long time to figure a few things out, especially with the diabetes and the insulin resistance, because I was just kind of clueless. But, you know, your yogurt isn't enough. If you think about what our food supply is, if you think about what our standard American diet habits are, if you think about how many scripts we're taking, if you think about how many over-the-counter meds we're taking, if you think about all of the antacids that we're taking, if you think about all of the chemicals and the seed oils and everything, it makes it's not a very big leap to say we're probably not getting enough active live cultures from yogurt, kombucha alone. Like, you need something that has a level of potency that can literally stick to your gut. Like this has a stick to your gut technology and it has a stay alive technology so that it can actually do what it needs to do. So I hope that that explains that for you. And this one, you can just ask me about the Balance probiotic and I can share that with you. Like if you're reaching out to me and you're asking me about a cart, I can do that. But it's very interesting because I feel like we don't put enough emphasis. Can you take 2 magnesium pills a day? Yeah. So the one that I take actually just says to take 2 and I take 2 at night. So I don't know what the directions are on whatever you're taking, but I mean, it's more about the dosage, I think, than how many pills. So it depends on what you're taking. And maybe you just follow the directions, you know? Um, but I'm specifically taking my magnesium. I was on my own, but it started about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago now, where I started. I wonder if it's been 3, maybe 3 years ago. I started to really work on my sleep journey because we have to get sleep. And because otherwise our insulin resistance and our cortisol is up. And we don't want that, especially as girls. Oh, you're welcome, April. You're so welcome. I've never met you before, April. It's really nice to meet you. Um, I asked my primary doctor to recommend homeopathic doctor. She couldn't. Oh, really? That's really funny. Yes, I'm sure not. But my sleep journey started with me being like, okay, I'm going to try melatonin. And at first, I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. And we still have melatonin in my line. They are in gummy form and they're amazing. But it didn't take long before I started to like feel drunk. Like when I would take melatonin in the middle of the night, really just I must make enough melatonin or something because I didn't need it. And so I was ODing, I guess. I don't know. Meg just says for women, you can take up to 320 milligrams. You must be talking about magnesium. And so I stopped taking the melatonin. And so instead, then what I did was I started taking, like I have said before, in our line, we had this amazing glycinate L-theanine blend. L-theanine is an amino acid. And I started taking that with, we have in our line, I call it a stinky herb because it smells like it has a valerian root in it, but the blend is so good. And excuse me, it's called Sleep Health. You can look that up and keep it in your fridge. That's a pro tip. Keep it in your fridge because then it won't smell as much. And some people don't mind it. It's just the reality that it's a pungent herb. So I started doing the stinky herbs with my magnesium glycinate at night, and I had loved that for a very long time. Very long time. I had no intention of shifting that at all, to be perfectly honest, until they launched the ashwagandha this last May, I think it was. And I love adaptogenic herbs. I think that they are God's gift to us to help us support our bodies for stress and to help support our adrenals. Adaptogenic herbs is where my journey started, where it helped me to balance out my hormones. I ended up never having a hot flash. Like all of these good things for me came from adaptogenic herbs. My daughter, trichotillomania, adaptogenic herbs. If you need to know about that, that is something people have to reach out to me on. I'm not going to probably do a live on that just because that's kind of whatever. It doesn't matter. Just reach out to me because it's the same herb that I was taking, still do to this day. It's in the purple packet. All right, I digress. I get off on that rabbit trail. So when they launched the ashwagandha, ashwagandha is good for sleep, stress, and mood. And I'm like, okay, I want to see what this feels like as I assess myself. So I started taking it, and it does not make you sleepy when you take it, but it does work on your inner system that helps you to sleep better throughout the night. So I switched to starting to take the ashwagandha one in the morning and then one at night with my magnesium. And my sleep just was beautiful. I stopped taking the sleep health. This is just for me. I stopped taking that. I haven't taken it since. In fact, I gave half of my bottle to my niece to sample for her. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain what adaptogenic herbs can do. And I did have somebody say that they have had a reaction to ashwagandha just recently. And so you have to know yourself, right? Because adaptogenic herbs can do different things for people. But I take one in the morning and I take one at night, and there's a sense of well-being, and it has definitely helped my sleep. And in June, when we traveled, I was in 3 different beds in a week. 4, including my own, right? If I'm going from my bed to the other 3, 4. Just took my 2 magnesium and my ashwagandha at night, and I slept so great. What I like the most about it is that I wake up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, and I don't feel drunk or groggy or any of that. And I don't want that. I don't want to wake up the next morning and feel groggy. I'm so not into that. I need to get up and be able to function. I'm a high functioning person, and I need to function to get everything done that I need to get done. So I can't be like foggy till noon. Hold on, I think I'm missing an adaptogenic herb. There are many of them. They help your body adapt to stress. So the first one that I started taking, and again, I'm going to just reiterate this again. An adaptogenic herb, you can imagine it's a plant, it's a leaf, right? Do not, try not to take supplements that are in potent, concentrated form like this of plants that have been sprayed with like maybe Roundup, because now you're putting that into your system. So everything I talk about is coming off of organic farms, and it's all third-party tested. It's all NSF certified. And what I mean by that is like NFL players have used part of this line. And you don't mess around when you're an NFL player and you're having tests done all the time. You can't have one pill saying one pill being tested and only has 10% of something, and another pill in the exact same bottle being tested and has 4 times. You have to have regulation. Anyway, I'm just telling you that. So I started out with, at the very beginning, it's rhodiola, which is one of the adaptogenic herbs. It's in the purple packet. I started out with that, and I started to take it for my brain fog. It helps with mental clarity and some energy. And I was like, wow, I can multitask. Wow. I can multitask, not a jittery, and don't think like, speed. We used to take stuff for weight loss. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about like a light bulb kind of goes on, right? Well, what I didn't understand was that over time, as I was using this regularly, that it was going to regulate my hormones, because what they do is ashwagandha is another one. The zinc that I take, if you're ever on my site, my first last name.com, and you see zinc has holy basil in it. That's another one. The memory one that's in the purple packet that has a couple more. Like, there are many adaptogenic herbs, but they're going to come in and they're going to support your systems. And so for women, what you need to know is that your ovaries do this really amazing job until they don't. And when your ovaries are done doing their job, your adrenals are taking over. Well, if you have shot your adrenals, work schedules, working overnight, stressful jobs. I'm talking to so many of you that are taking care of aging dementia parents, because you're in the same age group as I am. I took care of my mom with my sister for 5 years with her dementia. It's a real journey, just saying, right? Anything like that, that's always raising your cortisol, always whatever, and you've shot your adrenals. This is where adaptogenic herbs can come in and begin to, these are my words now, give you back some sanity, give you back a little, it's that sense of well-being. I remember those feelings of what's going on inside of me, and why am I feeling this anxiousness right under the surface? Why am I feeling that sadness come back from my postpartum days? Why am I you're just feeling like maybe out of sorts, and you're wondering what's wrong with you? Adaptogenic herbs can really help. And that is something that if you wanted to reach out to me and say on your live this morning, you were talking about adaptogenic herbs, I can tell you, you can share with me like maybe what you're feeling the most, and I can help you. determine where you want to start. Some people are starting both with the purple packet and ashwagandha. Some people are only doing the purple packet. It depends on what you want. It depends on what your budget is, all those good things. But I'm just telling you, I really believe they're God's gift to us. And I started them a long time ago. And yeah, stress, job, dad. I know, Cheryl. I know. This season, we thought, I'm looking at the time because I have an appointment here coming up. Um, I don't know if you're like me, but maybe you kind of thought in your head, oh, well, when I hit my 40s, like you do the math, when your youngest is going to turn 18 and you're going to have that graduation party and they're going to go to college or they're going to move out and get a job and whatever. And you're going to go into this empty nest season. And, raising humans is, it's like the most important thing that we can ever do. But it's also a challenging season, right? Now, I happen to love every season of my kids. I loved it all. I loved the 2s, I loved the 12s, I loved the 18s. I've loved it all. And my kids now are 35, 32, and 29. So I've just always loved finding out who God made them to be. Like that was my greatest joy in life. But you look forward to this season of empty nest where, oh, well, maybe now, my husband and I are going to go do whatever or blah, blah, blah. If you are then filled with brain fog, anxiousness, you're just like, there's a gnawing inside of you. Maybe there's that sadness. For me, it was the sadness that was reminiscent of, I had really severe postpartum after my first baby, especially. And I'm like, oh, why is that coming back? Like, what's going on? Or it's that whole insulin resistant conversation that we have. And that's how I always end up talking about the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. Because if you can get your insulin and your sugars down, you can finally lose weight. Like you can't lose weight if they're high. Like it's just a biological fact. And so, but women don't know that because nobody knows and nobody's talking about the fact that insulin is a hormone. So you have all of these things going and now your weight is increasing, or all of the things that used to work for you to lose weight, they're not working anymore. And you're like, what is going on? And so coming in and being able to help with adaptogenic herbs, being able to start to feel like yourself again, can actually really induce major confidence back into a female mind that was starting to feel very vulnerable. Maybe you're like me and you don't want people to know how hard of a time you're having multitasking. This would be where the purple packet really can come in and help people. Just FYI. And you just maybe feel like your confidence is waning. And when that's in your 40s, that feels really icky. And you think just maybe this is what it's like to get old. Maybe this is just what it's like to be in my 40s. And it's almost kind of a little bit of a downer. Like, gosh, I thought that I was going to hit my 40s. And, like women talk about being in their prime in their 50s. And I'm not feeling prime, nothing. Like this does not feel good. Oh, Linda has a very good question. Do I have to use PayPal? No, it is an option, but no. Or can I pay with a debit or Visa? Absolutely. And do you have to be on a monthly renewal plan? Nope. You're having a hard time paying for it on your site. Linda, I will reach out to you right away when I jump off. I'm going to jump off here in just a minute and I will help you. Because you should not, maybe there's a glitch or something, but no, you totally do not need to use PayPal. You can totally use just your Visa or debit. I'll just, for everybody wondering like about the auto flex shipment, the flex shipment that people can put themselves on, it is literally only to benefit the customer. There's no gimmicks. There's no surprises. There's no nothing. It's to benefit the customer. And what that means is that when you register with your name as a customer, there's a box that you can check for the perks. And the perks mean that you get points for your products. And when you get points for your products, you can cash them in on future orders. Okay. And when you do an auto flex, you get double points. So you're getting double cash. So that's what that is. It's called a ditto. People can ask me about that too. But Linda, I will get off here in just a second after I announce my 3 winners. And then I'm going to come and talk to you before I jump into my other Zoom meeting. How does that sound? I want to make sure that you get the help you need. And if nothing else, I'll give you their number and we'll get that fixed for you right away. Right away. It's what I do. Okay. So in the month of June, we celebrated our 1-year anniversary of our Facebook group called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And I wanted to be able to give back to the amazing community that has helped me build this. And you guys have just blessed me far more than I have. People will say, oh, you're whatever, you've been so helpful to me. And you're such a blessing. No, you guys don't know. You have blessed me more than I could have ever blessed you. And so this group of, over 4,000 women now has just been great. So I wanted to be able to give away sets of the trio. So I told people, when you place an order in the month of June, I'm going to put your name into a hat and I'm going to pull out names and I'm going to give away. I'm literally just giving away sets of the trio. So I have 3 people that I'm going to announce here for the giveaway. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. So that means we've done 13 challenges in a row, one every single month. We have another one coming up on Monday, July 8th. If you're not in the group, get in the group. And we'll have another one on Monday, and it's a 5-day challenge. And we'll go through ingredient trade outs. I'll take you into my pantry, my fridge. I'll talk to you about targeted supplementation and, answer any questions that you could ever have on that and teach you a recipe. Okay. So I feel like I need a drum roll of some sort, but that's okay. So I have the 3 numbers and I'm going to look up on my list here and I'm going to match up the numbers. Okay. The first winner of the trio, and then I will tell you, I'll go find you and I'll let you know that you want it. And I'm just going to ship it out to you. This is like $100 value, close to $100 value. It's a $93 value. With shipping, it's over. Susan rolled. Woo! Susan rolled. You are the first winner of a free trio for the anniversary. The second number is, let me see, who is it? Oh my gosh, Ruth, I don't know if you are on here. I don't know if you're on here. Yeah, Linda. Doreen, you are a winner of the trio. I'm so excited to ship these out, you guys. Okay, I'll get that to you, Ruth. The third one is, hold on. Terry Sorensen. Terry Sorensen, you are a winner of the trio. I'm so excited. And for everybody who did an auto ship in June, and I do this every month, this is an ongoing thing. I have yet to collect all of my auto ships, and then I'm going to throw you in a hat and I give away a full-size product every month. So I don't know who the winner of the auto ship is yet for the month of June, but I will figure that out today. And then I will announce that as well. And last month, I think I gave away, a bottle of the Women's Daily is what I gave last month. So anyway, that's what I do every single month for those who are on auto ship. And if you ever need help with that, let me know. But all right, you guys are so awesome. I am going to jump though, because I do have a meeting, but I want to thank you, Cheryl. Congrats to the winner, she says. Yay. I am going to jump and help Linda because Linda needs help placing an order. So I'm going to make sure that Linda gets the support she needs because that's what I do. Thank you for all the follows on TikTok. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for engaging and all the likes and everything. Again, you guys, amazing. Just really amazing. And yay. Doreen, did you see that? You won. I know. Crazy pants. Seriously. That's a God thing, Doreen. I'm just going to tell you that right now. That's a God thing. Anyway, that's so cool. Okay. Very fun because for your number to have been drawn. Anyway, that's really cool. I'm excited. Okay. You guys have a super, super, super blessed day. Reach out to me. My contact information is readily available everywhere. Just tell me you were on the live and you've got some questions and we will get everything figured out. And Linda, I'm on my way. Have a good day, you guys. All right, TikTok. See you later. And Facebook. Okay, Linda, I'm jumping off.